Educating investors.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Hey, Robert, how you doing, man?
Yes, good, and thank you for taking my call. I wanted to let you know that I've been a subscriber for a couple of years, just different members of your team, and I really enjoy it. But really the reason I'm calling is to express my sincerest gratitude for you providing that information yesterday on the small business grant. I'm a small business owner and primary breadwinner for my family, and if I can get that money, it's going to really mean a lot to my family. So
that's awesome.
Thank you for taking the time to do that.
No, well, listen, man, we appreciate you growling a problem with us.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Welcome, folks. Happy Friday. Not Tom O'Brien. Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN. Tom with the afternoon off. He will be back on Monday. He'll be back in this time slot on Monday as well. We got a little bit of a different morning lineup happening starting Monday. We'll go over that in a moment, jumping right into the markets. Right now, you got the S&Ps negative by 3 points, but we're almost at intraday highs right now at 39.23. We actually got even for a brief moment up there. Intraday high, you're talking about 39.2750. The NASDAQ, tech stocks getting hit yet again. NASDAQ 100 off 154 points. That's 1.2% in the red, off of the lows that we made at about 11 a.m. this morning as well. The Dow flirting with record territory, 32,599, within about 40 points of record territory we got to yesterday. And the Russell making a new record high, 2347 in the futures, just a few points off that level at 2342. Crude oil, negative by about 50 cents. We were above $66. Decent levels for crude, pretty much where we ended last week. If you look to the action on Friday, within about 50 cents to $1 of that level. Gold contract, gold was under 17 session. Gold contract currently trading at 1721. We were below 1700 briefly. And silver's down 26 cents. And we got to talk about the first headline I have up there. Oh, I better get it up there. Treasury yields leap past key level to 1.64%, a remarkable yield considering where we've been. You have Treasuries tumbling a new Friday, sending the 10 and 30-year yields to their highest since early 2020, highest level in a year. The 10-year rose as much as 10 basis points. I'm going to pull up the chart of the action in the 10-year. We make a new low, 131.23. You put this thing even on a 3-year weekly, you can see we're now bumping up to the levels that we were at basically August of 2019. We're back more than a year, and that correlating to a yield of about 1.64%. All right, jumping around to the morning lineup that will be starting on Monday. So I'll be jumping into the 9 o'clock time slot from 10 o'clock. All the information available on the front page of TFNN. Our man Basil Chapman, if you listen to the Tiger Technicians Hour, usually at noon, he will be jumping into the 10 a.m. time slot. And Larry Pesavento, he's going nowhere. He's just moving to the 12 o'clock time slot. So I'll be at 9, Basil at 10, Larry doing his program daily from noon till 1 Eastern time. Fast Market stays at 11. If you watch the programs, all the information on the front page of TFNN.com, everything archived as usual as well. Okay, jumping around to some of the stories. So we started off with a yield, quite a yield indeed, rising in a dramatic fashion. Tech stocks, you can't deny they're being hit. You pull up the NASDAQ 100, we are a solid. Even if you take that off, putting it back on a daily, we're a solid 1,000 points, actually 1,022 points to be exact, off of the highs, at the same time that you have the S&P right up near all-time high territory, Dow making an all-time high just yesterday, and the Russell making an all-time high today. Take a look at how these charts diverge, something to keep on your radar. The Russell accelerating out of its channel line, bouncing a couple times on that area that was support, now making all-time highs. You have the Dow bumping right up against the upper boundary of what could be a pretty long-term channel from basically the lows we were at in March. And then the S&Ps as well. Again, pretty defined channel right in the middle of it for the S&Ps as these indices diverge a bit on what's happening in the market. Okay, what else we're looking at? Producer prices this morning. So this was a big number. Producer prices rose in February from a year ago by the most since October of 2018. All right, so we had CPI data on Wednesday. Didn't really look like there was much inflation. The market liked that in a big way. You now get PPI on Friday that's saying we're seeing some inflation, the most since 2018. PPI index for final demand advanced 2.8% from February a year prior in 2020 after a 1.7% year over year in January. Now, what you're going to see is we are coming into months here for these PPI and CPI data points. Keep them on your radar because prices declined at the beginning of the pandemic when obviously things were shutting down. Deflation had actually set in. The comp numbers of these numbers are going to be substantial in terms of going from prices declining to now an inflationary influence on those numbers as we get those basically going forward, March, April, May, etc., for that PPI data. Okay, want to talk about this story as well. Really caught my eye today. I've been looking at AT&T for a while anyway. HBO Max, I am a consumer as well. I talked about it in my program this morning at 10 o'clock. They've given it all back, but keep this stock on your radar, folks, because that's a substantial amount of subscribers for a company who now is a dramatic player in the streaming business if they get to that level. But to reach 120 to 150 million by the end of 2025 means that they're going to be able to commingle the streaming platform and their movie theater business, which are intertwined going forward forever. So you have Disney, a huge player. I've been a big Disney bull for a while. You see how they've been able to merge those two. HBO releasing every big budget film they do this year to their streaming platform. That's actually how they got me to sign up. I'm biased. I do have some HBO in terms of Time Warner is the company. Now, they have much more going on than HBO. Time Warner has struggled. You look at this thing even on a 3-year weekly, you fell out of bed during COVID to a level of 28 to 30, and you've been stuck at that level since then, which brings you right back to the lows that were out of 2018. You put this thing going back even further, and you can see that we've never really gotten that far above 40 without pulling back in a big way. So there's drags on this. It's a dividend company as well, but that's a substantial number of subscribers where the confluence of business forces that are going to be able to happen when you get some of these big companies. It's part of the reason why I was such a bull on Disney in terms of you have the movie theater business, you have the park business, you have so many content brands that you're accessible to. Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Pluto, Donald Duck, let alone the Marvel characters, Star Wars, and their whole history of animated films, right? DreamWorks, etc. You're going to see similar action when HBO has big budget films that are included in their streaming platform, and that is a premium price, folks. I think it's like $17.50 a month that they're going to be coming to business to. They're giving all back today in terms of what they had accelerated to $1 higher, but at these price levels on a long-term stock where you are getting a dividend, not a bad play because that is going to be a big business, and it's going to take a few years, but I believe they'll get there as well as a consumer of the company. All right, checking back into the markets, S&Ps. I mean, look at some of these long-term charts. I referenced it, 3-year weekly. These things have shown no weakness. We got some real consolidation in the last couple of weeks, but you wouldn't know it when you put this on a 3-year week. Yes, a 3-year weekly. And that is the one we've had since the March lows. Stay tuned, folks. Give us a call, 877-927-6648. We'll be right back.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, folks. The S&P is negative by 2 points. NASDAQ getting hit off 140 in the NASDAQ 100 and the Dow positive by 234. We got a caller. Let's go out to Bill in Sarasota, Florida. Bill, good afternoon. What's happening?
Good afternoon, Tommy. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks so much for calling.
Sure, not a problem. I have a stock. Everyone would like to have this problem or dilemma. It's Viacom, VIAC. Been up.
I had not had it really on my radar, man. You go from $10 in the low in March. You go from basically $35 on January 5th. And this week alone, you go from $75 to $95, up like almost 10% today. So you have some of this, and what type of a position in terms of where have you been in it? Because the run's insane, man, of course, from $35 basically 2 months ago to $95, let alone just this week.
Yes. I'm in at 38. So
okay.
Unfortunately, I wrote some calls for 70, but I'm locked in some profit there. But I still have about 120 shares left. And
that's awesome, man. And you would have probably
get an idea of how high you think this is going to go.
Well, first, that's great. You took a little bit of money off the table, man, because you're in at 35. I'm sure at some point in that run you said, I'm going to write some calls at 70. If it gets hit in 70, I'd be good taking some of that position. It's a great way to do it, man, when you get a run like that. And now you're above it at 94. So I was Googling it saying, what's going on, right? So is this run all this week basically having to do with the Harry and Meghan interview with people downloading the CBS app to stream it?
I think that's part of it. And, they have a pretty good subscription service for their streaming business. So just
sure.
like you said with AT&T.
And I've paid them at one point myself for CBS, the streaming app, a year or two back, and it was ESPN programming. It had to do with the World Series of Poker. They were showing every single table on there live. I signed up for CBS. I forget the specifics of it, and I know the numbers have been pretty great overall. This run since 75, and it warrants some of it, man, because I just pulled up some of the numbers in terms of the numbers. I unfortunately jumped away from it here. No, I mean, it was 17.1 million viewers, but some of the numbers they got for streaming were substantial off this interview. And you get people on your app, right? That can do a big deal. What I'm all saying, though, is a precursor of maybe you take, half the position off or something like that. I mean, you just went from $60 to $90 in less than a month, in 2 weeks almost, right?
Yes, 2 weeks.
It depends what you're going to do. I mean, if you're going to hold this thing for years potentially, then you probably have some upside, man. Because they're a great player in the same way. CBS, they've transitioned well to people on their app. If you're thinking about selling it anytime in the near future, then I would definitely take some off the table. I mean, just so I talk about Disney all the time, right? Disney's been astronomical. I really haven't sold Disney because I might hold it for a couple more years, man, at least until the parks are rocking, the theater business is rocking, because you're a long-term believer, but anything goes in that short period of time, and you're considering selling in the next month or two. We know how pullbacks go, right, man? I just pulled this up on a weekly, and it doesn't have a red week since December 21st, right?
Yes.
That's pretty wild. I don't see that often.
Pull back.
How many? That's even just 3, 5, 8, 10. That's 12 weeks in a row. Consecutive probabilities get pretty out of whack when you talk about trading up. You know what I mean? On that consistent with this run being the most dramatic bar of them all this week, going from 75 to 95.
Yes. Yeah. So,
and I mean, it can't hurt to even if you take some off, man, 20 shares, 40 shares, and keep yourself 60 shares or something like that, to smooth out some of that run.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
But that's a great trade, man, and that's quite a run for that company, for sure.
Yes. Okay, thanks very much. Appreciate your input.
Bill, thanks so much for the call, man. You have a great weekend.
All right, thank you too.
Thank you. And just to continue it on the heels of it, these streaming companies, folks, they're going to be huge players. It's the reason why I went into Disney. You're going to see valuations accelerate in a dramatic fashion as Netflix gets some competitors on the block. Amazon's always going to be a competitor, but it's a tiny portion of their business, and they're probably not going to be a dominant player because it's just going to be one accolade, one perk that you get as Amazon. But you just saw, right? What do they have? The new Eddie Murphy movie just came out. I haven't watched it myself. That's pretty awesome that you get to watch basically what would be a feature film for coming to America or coming back to America, free on Amazon. But CBS making the transition as well. Anytime, though, you get this type of run up from 35 up to 95, and a lot of this run having to do this week. You see, there's Monday's action. We closed out last Friday at 74, and we're trading at 94 right now. Okay, some of the other stories that I had up here to check out on the program. Let's see, Google. This is an interesting one. They're going to face a quote-unquote very large EU advertising probe. That's the European Union Competition Commissioner, Margrethe Vestager, maybe, potentially, said Google faced a very large investigation. None of this has slowed Google down, though, folks. You look at the other tech stocks, they've pulled back dramatically. Google's just basically in a consolidation between 2,000, maybe just a hair above 2,000, and 2,100 and change. Somewhere in that level, we're sitting at 2,059. But compare that chart of Google compared to even the likes of Microsoft, that's been pretty strong as well. Yeah, pretty close to the same level, but especially a company like Apple that's now pulled back, and Apple's sitting at price levels that it was at in August, whereas Google in August was trading at about 1,600, and we're trading at 2,000, 25% above that level at the same time that Apple has chopped across and just proceeded to consolidate in a big way. Even you look at the likes of Amazon, right? Talk about a consolidation. Amazon at 3,091. You've chopped around between 3,000 and 3,500, 3,400 essentially, climbing over on a couple occasions. But you see the areas of basically resistance, whether you're up there in July just peaked above in October, again in November, again December 30th, and on a few occasions, really, all the way from the end of January to the middle of February, the higher end of that consolidation. You know, if you're going to nibble on Amazon, I was talking about it at these lows below 3,000. Amazon's a strong company, and it's going nowhere. And we've now consolidated in this area since basically the last 8 months of where we are on Amazon. It doesn't mean it's not going to consolidate for another 6 months or so, or 8 months or so before it trades higher. But we are basically $450, which is like an 11 or 12 or 13% off the high in Amazon still right now. And as we speak, the S&P is just about to climb into the positive. We're trading at 39.26. We just made an intraday high as well. That high, 39.2825, going positive for the session. All right, folks, stay tuned. We're going to be coming back with our man Dave White. We're going to be talking technology. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den trading room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&P's flat sitting at 39.27, the NASDAQ in negative territory. You got the Dow floating with record territory itself, and the Russell 2000 just off records today. Let's go over to our man Dave White. Folks, right under Newsletters tab, Dave's outstanding daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance. He does a weekly newsletter, The Tech Insider. His show, every program before this show, The Power Trading Hour, 2 till 3 p.m. We talk to Dave every Friday at 3:30 about technology. Dave White, what's happening, man?
Hey, I'm getting an update out.
So, there's action, folks. There's action.
Just give me 2 seconds and we'll be out there. Okay, it's sent.
Perfect.
Okay,
that's a nice
what's
little
going
teaser
on?
to ease into things. So what are we talking about today, man? I see you got. I know you did a special program at 2:00, right? Were you talking quantum computing? That's I saw the slide.
A few days, actually last week we did pretty much the whole hour on it. But one of the reasons it was more about the biggest part of the technology. But on this one, there's been a big break in quantum computing, and a lot of people, it's very hard to understand. It's not intuitive, and I wanted to kind of just talk about the big breakthrough.
I like it.
Really has happened over the last 30, 45 days. Been a long time coming, but now the company's out showing some stuff. So we'll talk about a little bit about what quantum computing is and what has really changed in the last, 60 days that has changed, basically a total game changer on it. But just to give you an idea, right now everybody has pretty much, if you buy a computer today, it's 64 bits. And you know what? A chessboard has 64 different spots. So one of the mechanical examples they have for understanding these kind of problems is the king and the chessboard. And the king wanted a new game. This goes back, it's apocryphal, but it goes back like 1,400 years. And he gets a kind of a really smart guy, and the guy builds a chessboard and all the pieces, comes up with the rules of the game. King loves playing it. And he says, Mr. Chessboard Creator, I'll give you anything you want. I'll give you all this money over here. I'll give you, all this or that. And he says, instead of doing that, I want you to give me 1 grain of rice for the first position on the chessboard. And on the second spot, I want you to give me 2. And on the third one, 4. So I want you to double it for every spot.
Okay.
And the king goes, well, that's not a big deal, right? Well, that's 1,400 years ago. Even today, by the time you get to the 64th spot, that's about 2,000 times the annual world production of rice.
It's amazing. Yeah. Exponential growth is something I think the mind struggles to grasp because it is just so amazing.
It's beyond the capability of most humans to think about it.
Yeah.
If you do, you can kind of get there. No one actually truly gets there. But just to give you an idea, that's 18 quintillion, 446 quadrillion, 744 trillion, 73 billion, 709,551,615, and would be 1.4 trillion metric tons just from doubling 1 grain of rice each time in 64 positions.
It's pretty cool to see the number laid out there, because what I try and usually tell myself as this is happening, because, I mean, you live it in technology in a big way, man, but we're all kind of seeing it with some of the runs that we've had in some of these tech stocks and the growth that we've seen in some of them. It's just that I try and always remember that it's very difficult for humans in general to understand and grasp how quickly that technology is going to accelerate, whether it's self-driving cars, and when they reach us, there's already going to be vehicles. It's very difficult for us, I think, to realize that, everything doubles in a year, and over 5 or 10 years, the technology growth is insane. And so I just try and always remember that part of the element, at least, if you're not grasping that it's 18 quintillion,
Yeah, it's now the quantum computers kind of work this way. Traditional or classical computers like we have on our desk today, the first one's a 1, the second one's a 2, the third one's a 4. But you don't get numbers anywhere close to this, right? It is kind of linear, the growth of those. This is, like you said, exponential growth. And what quantum computers actually do is every bit that could be a 1 or a 0 can be both. So that every position on there you have to think of as both a 1 and a 0. And if you get into some areas of quantum computing, it could be between 1 and 100 or 1 and 1,000. But that means that what quantum computers do is if you can bust your program up, or whatever you want to do, bust it up into small little chunks, then it can try every single one of those chunks. And the example for this generally is if you wanted to do the traveling salesman program or problem, which is you have a salesman, he needs to hit 40 cities, and there are a lot of different roads that can go to those. What's the best route for all of those cities to get hit? And what you find out is 25, not that big a deal. 40 cities, it might take a week for your computer to do it. By the time you get to 80 cities, you find out that it takes 1,000 years, even with today's computers.
Sure.
So those programs are called NP programs, and those are the problem. Just gets bigger and bigger the more you add on, and you add just a little on, and it certainly becomes something that couldn't be calculated with classical computers in the foreseeable lifetime of the planet. So what quantum computers can do is check every one of those 40 cities or 80 cities, as long as there's a qubit or a bit for each one of them. So at the point, your problem only is how big can you make these computers. And there's a company outside of Toronto that has come up with a way of doing it where Microsoft, IBM, everybody else have been trying a different way. Those guys are all using entangled electrons. They've made these giant systems to keep the temperature 1 degree below, just above total zero, absolute zero for temperature. If anybody drove a truck by the building, that entanglement would break. So, I mean, these things, why they do work and what they've been working on the last 10 years do work. This company actually changed, instead of working with electrons, is using light photons. And this solves a absolute ton of different issues. One is, and probably the biggest one, is it works at room temperature.
Okay.
Instead of having to have some kind of giant cooling system, the Tower of Babel, to keep the thing absolute zero. Anyway, we'll talk about the rest when we come back.
Perfect. We get the S&Ps making intraday highs. We're positive by 4 points now. We get the NASDAQ only down 112 points. We got 22 minutes left to go in trading. Stay tuned, folks. Dave and I will be right back.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Tom O'Brien.
Welcome back, folks. We got the Dow sitting at record territory right now, 32,657. The Russell making new record, 2350 right now. And the Russell S&P's inching into the positive, 3932. We missed the high in the futures, at least, 39.58 yesterday by 1 point, 39.59. And we're talking to our man Dave White. We're talking about quantum computing. So we got lights being used here, and so tell us what the progress is made and kind of how that plays into whether we're going to start seeing these companies going to use them, accelerate kind of the processing of those large transactions. Where do we go from there?
Well, I probably wouldn't have brought this up so much if this company isn't now selling time on its machines through a cloud interface. So they are receiving money to run their systems. Because the way they've set this up, they can actually have as many qubits as they want. They just have to plug them in. And, you know, when you go to light, a lot of the problems that these guys have been facing for years go away. The reason that they didn't use light is they had no reliable photon counters. All they know is that light hit. Photons are just like little bullets of light, and there wasn't anything there wasn't a device that could actually count them as they came in. All it knew was there was some light. And now what you really can do, or they can do, is actually count them as they come in. So as it comes in, it goes out as a digital number on the way out. So it actually starts working a lot more like you would think a traditional classical computer would be. And because
is this a private company, a small company, or a public company?
It's a small private company on the outskirts of, or actually now downtown, Toronto. It had its roots in McGill, which is a college just outside Toronto, where I used to actually go and try to hire folks.
Nice.
But there were a lot of positives to using light, but they just never could get the point where they actually could count the individual single photons of light. They can do that now, but they can plug in as many of these qubits as they want. So there's not a real limitation to how far they can go up the scale. But this brings in some other issues besides them making a lot of money. And that is the ability to start breaking encrypted algorithms.
Sure, yeah.
Blockchain or anything else. And there's a lot of business. In fact, I didn't talk about it, but they've got their own software systems and everything that you need. So they've got a full stack. This Xanadu company has a full stack. Everything you need to actually program it, get the answer back, and it's all a cloud system as far as they're concerned. But I talked about it. I think that it's got to be 2 weeks ago about whether or not you want to be in something like Bitcoin if China or some other big nation state decides to come after you by buying one of these things, because there's a thing called Shor's algorithm. Only works with quantum computers. But to give you an idea, let's say that you have some big kind of password. If you have enough qubits, let's say the password's 256 bits. You get 256 qubits, and you run Shor's algorithm on it. You can even take a bad guess. Each time you take a guess, the guess gets better. And 99% of the time, you get the answer in 10 iterations. So literally, they should be able to break any password almost instantaneously.
Yeah, just from like a common sense perspective, right? I mean, computers can do so many processes within the span of split seconds now compared to even our own brain. Our own brain's amazing in terms of what it can do. But yeah, it just seems intuitive that at some point, and especially about the jumps you're talking about when it goes to quantum, those leaps that it makes in terms of the computing power, it seems all but assured that that's going to be continual. I mean, the security business, right, in terms of online security and is probably going to be a good business to be in for a while as we continue to struggle on how to keep our stuff safe when you have stuff like this out there.
Right. It is kind of one of those. I don't know if you remember, there was a TV show called It Takes a Thief. But I think there was another one called White Collar, where they always hire the criminals to go after the criminals. You have to have a quantum computer to protect data from a quantum computer. So this is going to be a huge business. It's going to shake out a lot of stuff. But anything that you have today that is encrypted, for the most part, is one day almost instantaneously going to be able to be unencrypted. And, there's a lot of algorithms. Shor's only works with quantum computers, does not work with classical computers, although for 20 years they've been showing how this would work if you had a quantum computer. Well, they've got them now. You can set them up. And why this company has not said who they've sold the stuff to, I can already assume that the CIA, NSA, and the rest of the bunch are already working with this stuff today.
Sure.
Since they have a machine that actually works and that you can go use it on.
Oh, I bet. Because that's a big race. You always hear about China trying to make that leap too, right?
Well, they've used quantum entanglement with satellites to send their keys for their encryption. So in theory, if you ever looked at it, it would break, and someone would know that you would look at it. That's kind of one of the weird problems with quantum bits is that once you look at them, they kind of self-destroy. So there's ways around that too. But at the very base of it, if we were to actually get the Chinese keys from their satellite for their encryption system, they would instantly know. Sure. Everything would quit working. So pretty bizarre work.
No, technology is it, man. That's where the future is, of course. We talk about, computers, whether it's self-driving cars. I said, we're already, areas in St. Pete, Dave, they have vehicles that, just do small routes, right? Self-driving cars. As in, you own technology, man. You're going to own the world for sure because it's just moving so fast.
One of the other big things going on this week, one of the reasons why the semis are down a little bit. Last couple of days, it's been filtering out. The hardware delays are getting bigger, not smaller. The main kind of memory, DDR3, that would be in most kind of products today, it's kind of last generation for today's PCs. But in the last week, it's gone from 12-week lead to 20-week lead times. So it's not getting better. The whole problem with delivering semiconductors on time and in volume is just getting worse. It's not getting any better. So keep an eye on those. It's not an issue of demand. It's not an issue of supply. It's more of an issue of just getting the stuff out the door. And there's some shortage of key components. And that's about it. But look for semis to be problematic for, what's 20 weeks? 5 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a decent lag time that they're going to have to catch up, and that's assuming it doesn't go any further, right?
Yes. It's been going the other way.
All right, folks, we got the S&Ps positive by 3. The NASDAQ 100 negative. We got the Dow right near record territory right now, 32,656. Stay tuned, folks. Dave and I are coming right back.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave! Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. S&P is positive by 2 right now. Market's just kind of hanging out. Not too much action right now. We got a few minutes left to go in the trading week. We got a few minutes left to go in the program. Now, what are we going to wrap up with here, Dave?
Microsoft's Outlook server has been in the news for the last, 10 days, and that there's a easy break of all of them. Now, almost everybody, when you talk about anything today, is all about cloud systems.
Yes.
And this only affects servers that maybe you own at your location if you run a business. Anybody that
I didn't know such a thing still existed. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
When
I say half
thought
joking,
the exact same thing. I thought,
yeah,
really, people are still running their own servers. I can understand why for some particular reasons.
Sure.
But if you're in the military, maybe you still got something like this.
Sure. But this is the risk, right? If you don't.
Yeah, well, maybe you're Amazon and you don't want your email on
for sure.
When
you're at that
server,
level, right? Yes.
So you've got a few of those. There's still about 30,000 of them. you could instantly move it to the Microsoft cloud system within about 30 minutes, and you would have no problem.
Okay.
So a lot of people have kind of emailed me this week on why I didn't think Microsoft took a bigger hit. And I think it's because there's an easy solution. But yeah. What's that?
I was just going to say, and maybe that's not the growth portion of their business, right? If that's the only thing they can't keep track of is people using servers to store their actual Outlook on, that obviously that's not the future of that company.
Right. Now, they're certainly moving to everything to cloud systems. But, if you've got to hire somebody to be their security expert at your location, it's got to be incredibly more expensive than just letting Microsoft do it.
Yeah, I mean, you said Amazon, they might be able to do it, but very few companies. I agree.
Yeah.
And the cloud is amazing. We use, of course, cloud, whether it's Shopify, whether it's Microsoft Outlook on their cloud. Dave, thanks so much for the education, man. We appreciate it. We look forward to next week, man.
You bet.
All right, folks, have a great weekend. Have a